When a new week begins, most people do not awaken, they react. They spring forward from their beds, already pulled by the gravity of tasks, appointments, responsibilities, and demands. Their minds are not still, they are storming. Their thoughts are not in order, they are scattered, like dry leaves in the wind. But what would happen if, instead of rushing into this Monday with the frenzy of unfinished business, you entered it with the discipline of stillness? The world praises movement, it praises urgency, it praises those who are always doing, always busy, always running. But there is a wisdom that is much older than the modern world, and this wisdom tells us something different. The beginning of anything sacred must come from stillness. A monk does not leap from his bed and begin chanting in haste. A Shaolin disciple does not rush into practice without first anchoring his breath. Even the river, before it becomes a stream, begins from a still source. So must your Monday. When you open your eyes on this day, before reaching for your phone, before reaching for your plans, reach inward, ask yourself, who am I meeting this morning? Is it the same tired self from last week? Is it a recycled version of a you that is always in survival mode? Or is it a new version, reborn from rest, ready not to sprint, but to be deliberate in every move? In stillness, you begin to hear your own breath again. You begin to notice the small miracles you have ignored, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the softness of morning light, the quiet presence of your body simply existing. These are not insignificant details. These are signals that you are still here. And if you are still here, there is still time. If there is still time, there is still choice. And choice begins in stillness. You see, when you start your Monday in a hurry, you are not beginning the day. You are escaping something. You are escaping presence. And without presence, there can be no clarity. And without clarity, your actions are just motions. They may keep you busy, but they will not keep you fulfilled. They may bring you progress, but not purpose. A fast start does not guarantee a powerful finish. In fact, in the monastery, we are taught that the way you begin something determines how it will unfold. Not through superstition, but through awareness. If you plant a seed in disturbed soil, it will not grow strong roots. If you light a fire with damp wood, the flame will be weak. But if you prepare the ground with care, if you breathe deeply before the first word, if you meet the moment with centered energy, then everything that flows from that moment will carry the signature of your stillness. Stillness is not laziness. It is not apathy. It is not avoidance. Stillness is the sharpening of the sword before the battle. It is the prayer before the journey. It is the bow before the teaching. Without it, we are noisy, chaotic, and fragile. But with it, we are quiet, focused, and unshakable. Imagine a warrior who begins his morning with breathwork. His blade is not yet drawn. His muscles have not yet been tested. But already in his stillness, he is aligning his intention with the day. He is calming the storms inside, so that when the storms outside come, he is not easily broken. You too are this warrior. This Monday, you must not rise to fight your week. You must rise to become still, so that when you must move, your motion is graceful, so that when you must speak, your words are true, so that when you must decide, your heart is quiet and your vision is clear. The modern world wants to take your attention in the first 5 minutes of the day. Social media wants it, emails want it, notifications want it. But attention is your most sacred energy. If you give it away too quickly, you lose your strength. The monk trains for years to master this one thing. Where attention goes, energy flows. Do not give your first breath to the world. Give it to yourself. Let your own center be the first thing you honor, because if you are not centered, the world will pull you in every direction, and none of those directions may be yours. Let Monday become a ceremony, not a burden. Let it be your return to discipline. Sit down, even for 5 minutes. Close your eyes. Listen to your own breathing, and say to yourself, this day belongs to my awareness. I will not be pulled. I will not be rushed. I will walk. Even 1 minute of such presence is more powerful than 10 hours of unfocused effort. When you live like this, your energy changes. People will feel it. They will see that you are not reacting, you are responding. They will notice that you are not anxious, you are anchored. And this is not something you need to shout. It is something that speaks through your presence. How you begin this Monday will echo through the rest of your week. It is the opening bell, the way a musician tunes his instrument before the concert. If the strings are tight or the notes are off, the music will suffer. But if the preparation is done in calm and care, the music flows effortlessly. So it is with your life. Prepare your mind before the world plays its demands. Prepare your heart before emotion takes hold. Prepare your spirit before the winds of doubt come.
And know this, stillness is always a choice, even in the middle of chaos. It is not about silence around you, it is about silence within you. You can be in a noisy street and still be grounded. You can be facing 100 tasks and still be at peace. Because stillness is not what you do, it is who you are. When you stop pretending, there is no wisdom in exhaustion. There is no pride in burnout. Do not wear your tiredness as a badge of honor. The world may reward urgency, but your soul rewards alignment. And alignment begins when you stop chasing and start observing. What is this Monday trying to teach you? If you are too fast, you will miss it. But if you are still, you will hear it. You will sense what needs to be done, not just what others expect you to do. And when you act from that space, your steps will be fewer, but more meaningful. Your words will be fewer, but more impactful. You do not need to solve everything today. You do not need to rush to your destiny. You only need to show up fully to the present moment. And this cannot happen through speed. It happens through attention, through breath, through stillness. So take this Monday as your reminder. The power you seek is not in doing more, it is in doing less with more presence. It is in drinking your tea with mindfulness, in walking to your desk with intention, in starting your work not with fear, but with clarity. The greatest warrior is not the one who fights the most battles, it is the one who chooses the right ones. And you will only know which battle is worth fighting if you begin in stillness. Some people will say they don't have time to be still, but I say you don't have time not to be. Stillness is not the luxury of the slow, it is the necessity of the wise. It is what allows you to move through the world without being moved by the world. This Monday, become a student of your breath, become a listener of your inner voice, become a witness of your own awakening. Because in the silence of the morning, God still speaks. In the pause between your thoughts, the truth still lives. And in the space where nothing happens, everything begins. Let this Monday be unforgettable, not because of how much you accomplish, but because of how deeply you arrive into it. This is your time. This is your breath. And it all begins not with speed, but with stillness. There is something most people do not understand about time. They think time moves forward. They think life is a series of Mondays, a sequence of weeks, one after the other, like pages in a book being turned. But the truth is, many people are not living the current page. They are trapped in yesterday, carrying last week like a heavy backpack, not realizing that every moment they drag that weight forward, they are not walking freely into the now. They are being pulled by the past. This Monday cannot be unforgettable if it is built on yesterday's dust. You cannot construct a temple on top of broken ground unless you first clear the ruins. And so we must learn to ask ourselves with great honesty, what am I carrying from last week that no longer belongs to this week? What am I holding on to that refused to teach me? And why am I still gripping it so tightly? In the monastery, we are trained not to just let go of what hurts, but to let go of what is no longer useful. There is a deep difference. Some things don't hurt anymore, but they still weigh us down. Some memories are not painful, but they are unproductive. Some emotions are familiar, but they are not necessary for the journey ahead. And this is the great illusion. We believe that by holding on, we are protecting something. But in reality, by holding on, we are preventing something. Last week brought you lessons. That is its only purpose, not permanence, not punishment, just lessons. And if those lessons were ignored, life will bring them back in different forms. Maybe in a conversation that triggers you, maybe in a delay that frustrates you, maybe in silence that scares you. But until you learn what life is trying to show you, you will repeat the same story under a different title. To let go of what last week could not teach you, you must first understand what it tried to teach you. Maybe it was teaching you patience by making you wait longer than you wanted. Maybe it was teaching you humility by allowing you to fail where you thought you would succeed. Maybe it was teaching you boundaries by showing you who drains your peace. Or maybe it was simply teaching you awareness by making you feel deeply what you've been trying to avoid. Life is a mirror. If last week triggered your anger, it was not just about the other person. It was about something unresolved within. If it brought disappointment, it was not to break you. It was to realign your expectations with reality. If it brought fatigue, it wasn't to punish you. It was to remind you that rest is not weakness. But too often we do not receive the lesson. We receive only the emotion. We carry the emotion forward. We carry the anger, the frustration, the guilt, the restlessness, and we wear it like armor, thinking it protects us. But in truth, it prevents us from being light. And anything that prevents you from being light prevents you from rising. This is why when a monk finishes his meditation, he does not stand immediately. He bows. He gives thanks, and he symbolically releases whatever thoughts came through the session. He does not bring the clutter of meditation into the rest of his day. He lets it go. You must learn to do the same with your weeks. A week is a cycle. It has a beginning and an end. It is not meant to bleed endlessly into the next. But most people never close the door to their past experiences. They just drag them like chains from room to room. This Monday, make it different. Sit quietly and ask yourself, what feeling am I still carrying that belongs to last week? What belief did I pick up that is not aligned with who I truly am? What mistake am I punishing myself for instead of learning from it? What conversation am I rehearsing over and over again in my head, even though it's long gone? We must understand the mind loves repetition. It loves replaying what it couldn't resolve. But the heart wants peace, and peace can only begin when we stop fighting battles that have already ended. The warrior who keeps swinging at shadows is only exhausting himself. So let go, not because it didn't matter, but because it has already served its purpose. To truly let go, you must forgive, not always others, sometimes yourself. Maybe you did not do your best last week. Maybe you broke a promise to yourself. Maybe you lost control. But tell me, who benefits from your guilt? Who benefits from your self-hate? Guilt is only useful if it guides you back to integrity. If it keeps you stuck, it has become poison. Forgive yourself, not because you are perfect, but because you are learning. Not because you never fall, but because you always rise again. This is the sacred rhythm of human life. Fall, learn, rise, repeat. What makes a soul strong is not that it avoids difficulty, but that it does not repeat the same suffering once the lesson is received. There is also something else we must release: our obsession with what should have happened. How many of us carry stories in our minds about how things were supposed to go? The deal that didn't close, the relationship that didn't heal, the effort that didn't lead to recognition. These are traps. The more we live in should, the more we deny what is. And to be fully present this Monday, you must accept what is. Acceptance is not surrender. It is not giving up. It is simply the wisdom to say, this happened. Now, what can I learn from it? Acceptance gives birth to clarity, and clarity gives birth to peace. Peace is the soil in which all transformation begins. Without it, your efforts will be frantic, your focus will be scattered, your energy will leak. But with peace, even your smallest step carries great power. Letting go is not an event, it is a practice. Sometimes you will have to let go of the same thought 100 times. Sometimes you will revisit the same memory unintentionally. That is okay. Letting go is not about perfection. It is about returning again and again to the present, returning again and again to your breath, returning again and again to your path. We must also let go of the false belief that we are behind. So many people wake up on Monday feeling like they're late to life, that they haven't accomplished enough, that others are ahead. But ahead of what? Behind what? This is the illusion of comparison. And comparison is one of the most subtle poisons of the mind. Just like a shadow disappears in the light, comparison disappears in presence. If you are here, you are on time. If you are breathing, you are right where you need to be. Use this Monday not to catch up, but to center, not to race, but to remember. You are not here to live someone else's timeline. You are here to live your truth. And truth needs space. Truth needs silence. Truth needs freedom from the noise of last week. There is also something beautiful that happens when you let go. You create room for something new, room for a fresh perspective, room for grace. The universe, like a garden, will not plant where there is no space. So clear the weeds, clear the guilt, clear the judgments, and prepare your inner ground. Even in nature, before spring brings blossoms, winter must strip the branches bare. The tree does not mourn its leaves. It knows they must go for the new cycle to begin. In the same way, you must be willing to release even what once served you. Maybe a goal that no longer fits your path, maybe an idea of yourself that is expired. You are not who you were. And to cling to an outdated self-image is to reject the gift of transformation. Let go also of needing closure from others. Some people will never apologize. Some stories will never have a clean ending, but you do not need their permission to move forward. Closure is not something you get from them. It is something you give yourself, and you give it by saying, "This is no longer mine to carry." On this Monday, stand at the threshold of your own life and decide what comes with you and what stays behind. Not everything deserves a place in your present. Not every memory deserves space in your mind. You are allowed to leave things unfinished. You are allowed to walk away without all the answers. You are allowed to breathe freely again. When you let go, you reclaim energy, you reclaim time, you reclaim yourself. And so take a deep breath. Breathe in the new, breathe out the old. Say goodbye to what couldn't teach you last week and allow this week to begin with open hands. You do not need to carry the weight of 7 days to live one day deeply. And the only way this Monday will become unforgettable is if you make room for it to be. Let yesterday rest. Let tomorrow wait. This moment is asking for you. Not the version of you that is buried under burdens, but the version of you that is light, that is clear, that is fully alive. Let go, begin again. When the sun rises on a new day, it does not ask permission to shine. It does not apologize for yesterday's storm. It simply rises with full authority to offer light to everything that stands before it. You must learn to do the same. This Monday is not just another day, it is a mirror. And this mirror is not outside you. It is not your work, your schedule, your relationships, or your challenges. It is within. It reflects everything you are willing to face and everything you still run from. There is a silent moment every morning when you are alone with yourself, not yet distracted by the world, not yet pretending to be strong, not yet performing for others. And in that silence, you meet your truest reflection. For many people, this is an uncomfortable encounter, because to face the mirror of this Monday without fear is to look directly at the truth without flinching, without escaping, without makeup, masks, or stories. But understand this. The mirror is not your enemy. It does not judge you. It does not lie. It only shows you what is. And it is through this reflection that transformation begins. You cannot change what you will not face. You cannot heal what you will not see. The monk does not find wisdom by avoiding himself. He finds it by sitting face to face with the truth of his inner world. Even the parts that tremble, even the parts that ache. Why do so many people fear Mondays? It is not because of the day. It is because of the self they must return to, the quiet space that reveals where they are not living in alignment, the stillness that shows them what they've postponed, what they've denied, what they've neglected. Monday is a mirror, and the fear is not in the reflection. The fear is in the honesty it demands. But you must ask, what is the cost of avoiding that mirror? What is the cost of distraction, of pretending, of hiding? It is the slow erosion of your own truth. When you wake up and numb yourself with noise, with urgency, with busyness, you are not avoiding fear. You are feeding it. You are allowing it to grow in the shadows. And what grows in the dark will eventually overpower what lives in the light. So this Monday, you must decide to be courageous, not in the way the world defines courage, not loud, not aggressive, but quiet, steady, courageous enough to sit in front of your own reflection and say, this is where I am. I will not look away. Because everything you want to become begins in that moment, not in the future, not in success, but in presence. Perhaps the mirror will show you fatigue. Do not judge it, listen to it. Perhaps it will show you doubt. Do not reject it, understand it. Perhaps it will show you a longing for change, for depth, for peace. Do not suppress it, honor it. You are not meant to be perfect when you wake up. You are only meant to be present, and presence is more powerful than perfection. It allows you to meet yourself honestly, and only honesty leads to transformation. This is what most people misunderstand about fear. They think it is the sign to stop, but often fear is the gatekeeper of the next version of yourself. It stands at the doorway, not to block you, but to test your readiness, to ask, will you keep running, or will you finally face yourself? In the Shaolin tradition, when we train, we face many internal fears, the fear of failure, the fear of weakness, the fear of not being enough. But over time, the student learns that fear is not an enemy to be defeated, it is a teacher to be respected. When you bow to fear, you do not surrender to it, you acknowledge it. And in doing so, you rise above it. So look into the mirror of this Monday and bow, not in shame, but in awareness. Bow to the emotions you've ignored. Bow to the patterns that keep repeating. Bow to the parts of you that are tired of pretending. Bow to the version of you that is waiting patiently for your return. You see, we are not afraid of our reflection because it is ugly. We are afraid of our reflection because it is true, and truth demands action. Truth calls for change, and change requires letting go of comfort. But comfort is not the goal of this path. Awakening is, peace is, purpose is. And these things cannot be found in denial. You must ask yourself, what is fear trying to protect me from? Often, it is not danger, it is discomfort. Fear wants you to stay the same. It tells you stories. You're not ready, you will fail, people will judge you, you've tried before. But these are not truths, they are echoes. Echoes of an old self trying to survive in a new chapter. And the only way to quiet those echoes is to walk forward anyway. Do not let fear decide the tone of this Monday. You decide. Do not let old stories write today's chapter. You write it. Do not let the weight of last week blur your reflection. Clean the mirror, see yourself clearly, and step into this day with intention. Even if you only take one step forward, that is enough. Even if you only speak one truth, that is enough. Even if you only change one habit, that is enough. Progress is not always visible to others, but when it is born from honesty, it creates lasting transformation. The mirror is not only for confrontation, it is also for compassion. Look at yourself with soft eyes. See the effort you've made. See the pain you've carried. See the dreams that are still alive inside you, waiting. You have survived many storms. You have risen many times. This Monday is not the end. It is another beginning. And sometimes beginnings are quiet. They are not fireworks. They are not applause. They are simply the moment you choose to be real with yourself again. When the monk looks in the mirror, he does not search for perfection. He searches for presence. He does not seek an image that pleases others. He seeks a reflection that reveals truth. You must learn to do the same. Let go of how you are supposed to look, how you are supposed to feel. Let go of the illusion that you are behind. You are not behind. You are right on time for your truth. There is a great power that awakens when you stop hiding from yourself, when you stop covering the cracks with noise, when you say, this is who I am and this is where I begin. That power does not shout, it does not demand attention, but it moves mountains within you. And once it moves, the world around you begins to change too. Fear thrives in silence, in secrecy, but when you look it in the eye, when you speak its name, when you bring it into the light, it begins to lose its grip. So name it. Say, I am afraid of failing. Say, I am afraid of being alone. Say, I am afraid of being seen. And then remind yourself, fear is not a stop sign, it is a signal. And today you do not retreat from it. You listen to it, learn from it, and keep walking. And today, I will ride, and I know you will too, because at some point, you are not your fear. You are the awareness behind it. You are the presence that sees the fear and chooses love anyway, that chooses truth anyway, that chooses growth anyway. This Monday, as you stand before the mirror, see yourself fully. See the discipline within you. See the peace you are cultivating. See the quiet strength that grows each time you face yourself instead of running. You are not weak for feeling fear. You are wise for meeting it. And when you walk out into your day, let your reflection remain with you, not as an image, but as a knowing. Let your steps be guided not by pressure, but by clarity. Not by fear, but by awareness. Not by proving, but by being. The mirror has already done its work. You have seen yourself. Now go forward, not as who you think you should be, but as who you truly are. And that, my friend, is how this Monday becomes unforgettable.